Hello and welcome to Moving Communities. This series of interviews is designed to help people understand what Moving Communities is all about. And there's a number of partners, and one of those partners are Right Directions Delivering Quest. So before I talk anymore, I'm going to ask Caroline to introduce herself. So Caroline, tell us who you are, what you do and who you do it for, please.
Hi, and good afternoon to anybody who's listening. We are a management consultancy called Right Directions. We've been trading since 2004, and we mainly support leisure sector in quality management, health and safety, environmental management, ops procedures, day operational support. And we also run accreditations on behalf of quite a few organisations, one of which is Sport England. We've been running their Kite Mark scheme Quest now for 10 years. Feels like a lot longer than that, but for 10 years. And we deliver that to the leisure sector, from local authorities, trusts, ice rinks, independents, all sorts of leisure operators. We also run in conjunction with Quest, so people who go for Quest can also go for other awards. We run Learn to Swim accreditation for Swim England. We run the Activity Alliance Inclusive Fitness Initiative. And we also run the Code of Practice for the UK Active, although that's obviously changing a bit at the moment anyway. So those awards run, and we also work with Public Health England in Suffolk, running an award for them as well. So quite a few awards that we run in conjunction with Quest.
Brilliant. Okay. And the interesting piece for me when we started looking at the National Leisure Recovery Fund was that almost national benchmarking service on steroids. So we've repurposed national benchmarking service. So we still have the effectiveness and efficiency. So we can do income, we can do expenditure, we can do participation. There's going to be some great stuff on social value, and hopefully the biggest customer experience survey ever done in this country. But the really interesting piece for me was that ability to look at quality management. So through the Quest Prime scheme, and then match that against the performance of the centres on recovery. So can you just give us some insight into Quest Prime first, and then we'll talk about how it links together with the other benchmarks?
Okay, so Quest has a variety of quality management accreditations in it, and for the last 10 years it's been running a very operational scheme as well as active communities, and we've tweaked that and changed it in response to the pandemic. So Quest Prime is specifically modules helping centres make sure that they are delivering the requirements made by the government, and also have recovery in mind as to how they're going to come out of it and come back bigger and better and stronger. So the modules include things like, obviously still operational stuff like cleaning and hygiene, operational management, so social distancing and all that sort of stuff, how they're managing the buildings, touch points, fire exits, that sort of thing, and then programming, so how they are getting their program back up and running. Have they moved gyms into sports halls? What are they doing to get as many people as they can back into as many programs as possible within the limitations that we've got? And then community engagement. So how are they getting out, talking to their members? What's their digital approach? How are they liaising with people? And how are they getting to people that potentially know they need to get fit after last year and want to come into a leisure centre? So that's pretty much what it's about. And our assessors, we have assessors and mystery visitors. So our mystery visitors go out and look at the building incognito, that people don't know they're in there. So they'll be testing staff adherence to policies and customers and the walkthroughs and where they're going and how that works. And then followed up from the mystery visit, the assessor goes in, looking at the mystery visit as well as some of the National Recovery Fund information, looks at the modules and assesses the centre, liaising with, talking to customers, staff and management.
Okay, excellent. And from my understanding, there's about 1,200 sites that were going through the National Leisure Recovery Fund in England. It's an English product. And my understanding is that Sport England have chosen a sample of it. Is it 50 sites to be Quest Prime assessed?
Yeah, just over. There'll be 50 sites. Local authorities will be able to choose the centres that they want to go in. Probably not if they've had funding, but they'll be liaising with Sport England on that. So those 50 will be going through, and then local authorities can choose if they want to obviously put other centres that they've got in their borough through to benchmark if they want to. So yeah, it's about 50. Obviously, there's already hundreds of people at Quest sites who are part of the scheme and potentially coming back in and doing Prime this year. So that will obviously be able to benchmark with those people.
Yeah. So those 50 are paid for as part of the recovery fund, aren't they?
Yes. Yeah.
In there. That's great. And it's interesting you talk about benchmarking, because that's going to be the real value of this, the ability to look at my own site versus a neighbouring site or a site in a similar location. Then I can look locally, how well are we actually recovering as a locality? And then, of course, nationally. And that ability to really almost measure that quality and quantity piece by bringing Quest Prime in is really quite exciting. It gets us to that point that we always argued about National Benchmarking Service. Can you be effective and efficient and still deliver the real quality facility? So what's your desire for the outcomes of this? Because it's going to create some fantastic insight and intelligence. What would you like to achieve?
Well, I'm hoping that, I mean, I'm a massive fan of good operations and customer service and delivering a good product on the ground. And what Quest Prime will do is we'll be able to demonstrate to the local authority that the centre's doing a good job on the ground, and it's not just luck. Or it's not just the local community or whatever. It's because they run a damn good show, and that's really, really important, I think. In terms of the benchmark, being able to link up efficiency, effectiveness, social rate of return, and running a good ship, and I think the good ship is a big part of that, is massive. Especially for local authorities, knowing that their contractors or their facilities that they manage in-house have had an external assessment. It's a big difference. And also, the data is only as good as what people put in. And local authorities will know that there has been somebody from the outside going in and checking, which is a key element to the whole thing. It joins the whole thing up in moving community.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think that's really interesting, that external eye. And of course, the customer's eye will also be gathered due to the experience survey. And
obviously,
then the plan is to feed some of that information we get from the customer survey into the assessors kit, effectively, so they can really talk about some of the things that have been done as part of the National Leisure Recovery Fund, and then how they're being responded to on site. So how do you plan talking to assessors and making sure they're up to speed with what individual sites have planned to do?
So basically, the assessors will be able to will access the information on the narrative that the local authority has given Sport England on their recovery plan,
right?
And how they are planning on getting back to normal, whatever the new normal is, and hopefully better than the old normal. Never been to so many beautifully clean centres in my life, so fingers crossed certain things stick. So basically all of our assessors have been trained virtually, so through webinars and things, and we've gone through all of the modules and what we're looking for, and we've gone through best practice of what should be in place. So all of the assessors have had online training, and the mystery visitors have also had the same thing. The mystery visits are going to be an awful lot harder because obviously they can't mingle about and go in all the changing rooms and nosy around, so it's a lot harder to do a mystery visit in a socially distanced centre, but they do a good job.
No, absolutely. And I know the intention is to give the assessors access to the platform, which will give them some data, which is like experience stuff and participation stuff. So as we go forward and we start seeing this information coming out, how do you think it will change our approach to the management, the day-to-day management? Where's the pinch points that you think we'll see some activity that we're going to have to change and do differently?
I think the huge survey that's being done will make a massive difference, a massive difference in people being able to benchmark where they're at. I think social value is going to be key going forward. I think that's been a missed trick, and I think an awful lot of local authority leisure centres have been running fantastically well, but haven't ever had the tools to be able to demonstrate what difference they're making. And this year, out of any year ever, we've got a fantastic platform to demonstrate that we're very, very important. We're an extremely important sector. So this whole platform, I'm hoping, will show the powers that be that the leisure sector isn't a leisure sector. It's a health and a well-being and a fitness and a reducing crime and all of the other things that we do brilliantly well. will start to be recognised, because I don't think we have been recognised as an industry, particularly in government, up until now. I'm getting on a soapbox, sorry.
No, and it's absolutely fine. And I'm just looking in the background and remembering the office and coming down around 2011, and when we were rewriting the new standards, and we came up with that plan, do, measure, review and impact.
Yeah.
Struggled so hard on that impact thing and the measurement. And now we've got this wonderful product that's been created that will really demonstrate impact. So I'm really chuffed about that. I think it's been a long journey on that measure, review and impact section of Quest. I think now we've actually got some really good toolboxes to help sites with. So Carol,
the whole thing together is what we've been wanting to do for a long time. MBS the effectiveness and efficiency have been great products. So to pull everything together is going to be awesome. And if I was a centre manager, having that ability to benchmark nationally with what I'm doing would be a great carrot to talk to my staff about, to tell them how well we're doing, or give me lots of areas for improvement and where I need to improve. Everything from operational to customer feedback to efficiency, effectiveness, the whole lot. Social rate of return. It's a toolkit that you wouldn't want to be without.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it makes me wish I was 23 again. But I think
absolutely, wouldn't you have just loved that rather than Excel spreadsheet sent to you on a floppy disk?
Yeah, absolutely. That's brilliant, Caroline. Thank you for reminding me of what it was like to be 23 again. I'm going to say thank you so much for your time. Thank you for all the work. And I'll also say a big thank you to Right Directions for all of the webinars, all of the standards that you've helped create, and making sure people are really confident to come back to use our facilities. So big thank you to Right Directions for that as well.
Thank you to you as well, David, for all your input.
Cheers. Take care. Thank you all. Bye.
Bye.